things. My issue that I have though, however, and you all, I'm no stranger to opening of a business here in the city. I thought that if you open a business, if you say you're opening a cookie shop, and you go and get a business license for a cookie shop, and you go to the zoning department and share your plan with the zoning department that you're opening a cookie shop, then I would think that it would be an issue for you to go and now you're selling something different. If in fact the gentleman by the name of Mr. Kelly, he's been, very respectable, I've talked to him, is opening a legitimate gun shop. One, I would ask, why in the Brighton Prentice Park community? I know many of us here, we support the right to bear arms, so that's not an attack against people's Second Amendment. However, I just believe that if you're opening up a particular store in a particular community, that you are targeting that demographics. Let's just be honest. When you open up a business, many of us open a business so that we can make money. My question that I have though is, and we're so thankful, I'm gonna announce who's here shortly, but our mayor put together a great strategic plan and they had the Harvard Bloomberg study. And in that study, Brighton Prentice Park always came up top of the list for have the worst crime, the most crime, gun victims, gun violence. So my question is, of all the places to put a gun store, why would you do it where there's crime ridden all over the community? Secondly, I would add, if in fact, as I was told, that it is a legitimate gun store, then when you drive by there, and how many of y'all had the opportunity to go by there, just by way of?
Ooh, I was one of the first.
So if you went by there, why don't it have the name of the gun store on the building?
Praise the Lord.
In the window, it has his construction company.
Oh.
Now it also has his U-Haul stuff
Yeah.
that has yet to be approved.
Started off as you are.
And the U-Haul is scheduled to go before City Council tomorrow for approval, even though it has all the trucks out there and all the U-Haul and things of that nature. So before I go into more detail, I want to announce who we have in our midst. From the city side, we have Mayor Shannon Glover. We have Councilman-elect, Councilman, I'm sorry, you've been officially sworn in, Vernon Tillage. You have Councilman Mark Hugel. You have Councilman Bill Moody. We have former Councilwoman and Vice Mayor Elizabeth Simmons. We have Assistant Chief from the Portsmouth Police Department with us.
What? We ain't know that. Congratulations.
And we have others here that's from the police department, I see. So I just want to, by opening it up to the floor, we're not going to be here long. Anybody that know about our civic league, we meet business 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And we're normally on break. We're on break between the month of November, December, and January. We run February through October. But this was something that we really needed to come back to. So question from the floor. I want to hear from the citizen. I'm one voice in the community. Yes, ma'am.
I did not know that the ammo sign was legit until I saw you post it. I had seen that like 2 months ago. They had a little teeny sign on the street of Lincoln and Ann. And I said to myself, you sell ammo? It really, my heart is really, really beating right now, even the thought of it. But when I saw your post about all the phone calls you was getting, I said, I seen that sign 2 months ago. You all been there. You all have, and that building sat there for so long. It was under auction for almost a year. That building has been sitting there with an auction sign for almost a year. When I saw the ammo, the U-Haul, I was good with that. I said, dang, that's good, we got a U-Haul. But when I passed by there, I live 2 blocks away from there. And when I saw the ammo sign, I said, what? They selling ammunition on the corner. It didn't bother me, but it bothered me because I thought it was legit. I thought it was legit, but my thought was, who allowed somebody to open up a store that advertised resale ammunition in Prentice Farm? It wasn't until I saw your post, and that's why I'm here tonight. Until I saw your post of all the phone calls you got, that people were concerned about how they gonna open up an ammunition store on the corner of Am and Lincoln. And that's when I said to myself, I'm so glad that people started calling. And that's why I'm here tonight. Because I saw that sign 2 months ago. And it bothered me. When you get to the corner of Lincoln and Am, the ammunition sign is set right there on the corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm glad that you want to know how you're going to open up a store that sells ammunition. And I don't care if it's Prentice Park, I don't care if it's Churchman, I don't care where it's at. I want to know how you're going to advertise we sell ammunition on the corner of Lincoln and Am Avenue. So I'm waiting, I'm hoping, I'm praying that my neighborhood, Prentice Park, I done seen so much eyes. I've heard it every day after day after day. And my neighbors say, Miss Payne, you hear that? Yeah, I heard it. But you don't hear no sirens. So I said, well, I guess they ain't kill nobody, because you don't hear no sirens. I didn't even know till the day that 2 people got shot on Am Avenue, till I read my phone today. I didn't even know. But an ammunition shot right on the corner of my street. It ain't even about my street. It's about how you gonna advertise resale ammo. AMMO, they got the sign. Resale. Barry, I appreciate you for bringing this. I seen it 2 months ago. I ain't know who to call. I won't gonna call nobody. I thought it was legit.
You want to get that?
I thought it was legit. But until I saw your Facebook post that people were concerned about it, that's when I knew I need to come to a meeting tonight. Because I'm in it with you. I'm trying to figure out how you gonna open up an ammunition shop on the corner of Lincoln and Am Avenue.
Yeah, and let me be clear.
And I appreciate all y'all for coming. I don't know who owns the shop, if you here or not, I don't know. But if you here, make it legit. Make it legit. It's people that need ammunition. It's people that need it. Protect themselves. But if that shop is not legit.
Well, that's why I want to make it clear. From what I was told, it is legit. Where the confusion lies is that it has U-Haul on the building, and it also says construction. Johnny?
If it's legit, did it go in front of city council?
Well, that's the thing. It did not go before city council, and everything doesn't go before city council. But again, maybe that's something, that's why I asked the council members to be here so that they can chime in the future. Because the good thing about things like this is that we can ensure that even though, and let me be fair, guys, it may not be nothing we can do about it. However, at least this council can ensure that it just doesn't happen to the next disenfranchised community. Let's be honest of what we're dealing with in our community. That's the part that we need to deal with. And that's why these things are important, because I hear it all the time. And I hear it from my neighbors and people in our community that says, well, it don't happen in Old Town, or it don't happen in Sterling Point, or it ain't happening in Crystal Lake. Well, guess why? Because those individuals take stock in their community, and they want respect for their community, and they don't allow any and everything to happen in their community. They take a vested interest in their community, and they do things about it. So I'm grateful to see as many people out tonight that are out here tonight, because it speaks volume as to what's happening. Before I go back to you, Johnny, because I didn't let you finish your thought, I want to also acknowledge that we have community leaders here. Miss Monica Atkins from Stop the Violence, my brother Jane, Lakeisha Onyx Hicks, one of the second vice presidents of the Portsmouth chapter of the NAACP. We also have Mr. James Patrick Board, who is the chapter president of the Portsmouth NAACP. So we have people that are here tonight that we really want to get what's on their mind across with Pastor Alvin Burden, Pastor Aaron Smith, artists, and others in the community. Johnny, finish your thought, and then I'm coming back to the next person over here, then Monica.
Well, I'm here on behalf of Prince Park neighborhood, because I stay on Park Avenue. And me and my wife just bought a house there a little over 2 years ago. The violence in the area is very high. I don't know if y'all know, but we just had 2 murders. One on Randolph and Atlanta. Another one's just up the street the other night about in Graveyard. That's right in between that business. Now, if it's a legitimate business, I don't have a problem with it. But my problem is, where's the liability? Because I guarantee you, 6 months when they open, that business will be broken into. Guns will be flooded on our streets. Then people get an insurance claim, and the business will close. So I want to know who approved that business, and what can we do to try to reverse that in that area right there. That's all I need to know.
Right here.
Let me do my last question, and I'm gonna sit down,
wait.
baby.
I'm gonna come back to you, baby.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back. Go ahead, Jim.
Good evening.
Mr. Cook.
Good evening. Barry, when I got your email, your text, I texted my neighbors on my street. We have a mayor of Charleston Avenue. His name is Willie Green.
I know that's right.
So Willie did some investigation, came to me and suggested I do the same. This morning, I went to that business. And the gentleman who I thought owned it, he never identified himself. But there was a number of men in the business. Their explanation is there are no guns on that property. There are computers. And people come into the facility and they help them order guns through those computers. So it's a bank of computers. It's about 4 computers that these people sit behind. You come in, apparently, and they will sit down and they will help you order whatever guns and ammunition you need for that gun. But there are no guns on the property. That's what I was told.
Is Mr. Kelly here?
The second thing I was told was they would be here tonight, because I told them that the Civic League was meeting and they were topic number 1. The next thing I indicated to him was, since he had a sign in his window with guns that said, "We sell guns," it is only natural people driving by would assume there were guns in the building.
Right.
I was told, no, I was wrong, because I was jumping to a conclusion. However, I did go and check it out. I did suggest all the people that were sitting in that room to please come to the Civic League meeting. I told them the time, and they told me they did not know where this building was. I told them where the building was. They assured me that they would be. So anybody who was in the U-Haul building at around 10 o'clock this morning, when
Where you at?
Billy Cook came through there,
Where you
anybody
at?
that was there, Okay,
Right, so hold it,
They
Ms. Cook.
aren't there.
So this is the other dilemma that I have. I talked with Mr. Kelly, who is the owner, and he told me under no uncertain terms that there will not be a lot of guns in the building, but yes, there will be guns for sale in the building. Again, I want to echo my sentiments of what my issues are. There is nowhere on that building
That is say we
that
sell guns.
have a gun name.
Exactly.
So my question is, Mr. Mayor and others that are here,
Ammo only.
that if they got a permit to legally sell guns, then why is it that they have a construction, they're promoting the construction and U-Haul as the name of the business? Ms. Monica Atkins.
Well, what's important, because with them being in the middle, you have two elementary schools not even a mile radius from the middle of where they're trying to put this gun store. Not even that, I just brought it to their attention at Brighton Elementary School, which is a school we facilitate on Mondays and Wednesdays. And their main thing was they didn't know anything about this. And their main concern is when violence happens in the community, you have parents scared to send their kids to school. So we do want them to go to school to get an education. So what are we gonna promote? Selling guns or kids getting an education? I always thought education was the priority. So again, a high poverty area with high crimes in the radius 1 mile of two elementary schools, Parkview and Brighton Elementary. What? Do the math, do the math, do the math. And again, I have had multiple parents reach out to me stating their concerns. That's it.
Ms. Pam?
I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Mayor Glover, you see me sitting in front of that city councilman seat every Tuesday, every Thursday. I can't wait to come down there. I love to be at your city council meetings. I have not one time, and I have been at the city council meetings about the last 5 months straight. I don't miss them, whether it's for the clown show or whether it's for serious business. I have never, ever, ever seen nobody come before y'all that this building on Elm and Lincoln, most people come before y'all, it's on the agenda. They want to open up this, they want to open up that. I have never seen that building on Elm and Lincoln Street come to the forefront of city council and get approved for opening. And I want to know how, who owns it, how did they open it up before they bought it, before y'all, for it to be approved? Because it's wide open, it's U-Haul, it ain't guns, it's ammo. They don't advertise guns, they advertise ammo. So the people that got the guns, you come get your ammo from us. You ain't, now, Monica, you just opened my eyes to something else, guns. I ain't seen the gun sign. All I seen is the ammo sign. I ain't seen no gun. But I wanna know, that building, and I'm gonna leave with this. That building has been up for auction for years. Nobody never bought it. Nobody ever said who owned it. Of course, we all assume Senator Lucas owned it because it's right across the street from her building. That's what I know, and I believe you, baby. But everybody assumed that. And it's a shame that they put that name on your mama, but everybody, even me, I said Louise Lucas gonna open up, not no damn ammo shop. She gonna open up a place where people, individuals, well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I never seen that come to city council, that building. But all of a sudden, that building opened up. And I'm telling you now, 2 months ago when I saw that ammo sign, I wish I had called you then. Cause now we 2 months later, they had that ammo sign on the street and a little cone.
Let me read to you guys what's coming before council tomorrow. And the guns, the selling of the guns is in the window. Is UP-22-18. Now this is what's also in the window. AEK1 Construction Incorporated, and he has that up there, requests a use permit for a vehicle sales use to rent U-Haul vehicles and sell moving supplies on the 0.69 acre property at 1820 Am Avenue in the neighborhood mixed use zoning district. The future land use map of the Bill 1 Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designate this property for commercial. The property is owned by Elkhart Assisted Living LLC and is further described as tax map 85 parcel 119. Now, let me say this. This is another point of confusion that we have. You have, because the owner, and he was very straightforward with me. He wanted to open up assisted living, but he said that fell through. So now he is owned by a construction company, an assisted living company, and a U-Haul company, but they sell guns. That's where the confusion comes in. We also have our Vice Mayor, Lisa Lucas Burke here. We have the Honorable Quinea Foutre here from the school board. I want to hear now from Quinea about how this impacts children, and then we're gonna go from the mayor down to anyone from council, then to the police department, and then we're gonna close out. But I'm asking you all as citizens, and thank you, I see Ms. Elvira back there, another civic league president from the Historic Trust and District. I really need you all, Gosport, Wilson Ward, thank you. I really need you all to understand that we really cannot sit back idly, because if you say you're gonna sell burgers, then put the name of your burger store on the bill. You shouldn't go downtown, get a business permit to sell hamburgers, and then you're selling pizza, you're selling chicken, but your permit says for burgers. All I'm saying, guys, is if there is nothing shady about what's gonna be happening, then you didn't do anything wrong, sir. You went down there, you got a permit to sell guns, then why doesn't it say, because when I go to Norfolk, because he felt it necessary to tell me that other people community can have Bob's gun shop. So why can't our community have it? And I know what he was saying, he was talking black and white. But at least Bob's gun shop says Bob Gun Shop.
That's right.
It don't say Enterprise Rental Car, but you can also buy a gun while you go there. And it's not in a neighborhood. Quinea and then Mayor Glover, down to the council.
Am I good right here?
Yeah, you look.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. As for me, I'm just huge on trauma. First of all, it's not normal, and it has been normalized in many of our communities for far too long. This is my 17-year-old, and I couldn't imagine what I've had to hear so many stories of so many other mothers and fathers who've had to bury their children because of the trauma that we've just normalized in our communities, let alone have the audacity to create this business that is now empowering something that our children get to see in music videos and get to see on television, and it's being hyped up to be cool when we all know that it's not, right? And for many of them and for many of their households, it's normalized to carry. It's normalized to make sure you can protect yourself. We see now, even in the news, what just happened at a school over in Newport News, where we have a 6-year-old bringing it into the school, feeling like that's the way to defend himself. And so, again, it's not right on any level, and we have to do our due diligence. I live by the motto that says, change the family, change the world. But so much that we can talk about. We have to get in our own families and check our families, check our sons, check our daughters, and make them do the right things. Don't just go off of what you think. No, pick up those phones, search and see what they're doing, have those hard conversations, and show up for them. And even those children that we know do have those broken homes, that may not have an adult to check for, we're supposed to be their village. And I know a lot of times, you know, in many places, we've kind of gotten away from that because some people don't want you to talk to their children a certain way. Hey, we are the village. And if we don't talk to them, who's going to do it? So we have to take a stand for our communities. And the only way we can do that is that we're doing it together and for us to be unified.
Thank you. Yeah. And she's hit on a great point, because that's the thing, guys. Our children shouldn't get off the school bus and they see ammo sold here, guns sold here, because kids gonna be kids. Is it right that they break into somebody's place? No, but that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think Johnny said it best, but the difference is, Johnny, they'll file a claim and still be able to stay there because their insurance is paid. So we're gonna go start with our vice mayor.
Okay, our mayor just wanted to summons us, outside for conversation.
Oh, okay,
Let me
got
see
you.
you guys outside real
Yeah.
quick.
Yes, so we come,
Bill. James Boyd,
Yeah, first of all, let me say,
because, first, hold up, y'all, they have to, because this is, we have a legitimate business in the city, and they have to be careful on how they approach it, because it's not right. Go,
I
James.
also think it's because if it's more than 3 of them in a room, yeah, I think it's a meeting too, but, I just want to say first that I'm empowered by what is happening here tonight. For somebody whose grandmother's lived on Prentice, in Prentice on Evergreen Street for about 60 years, it's good to see this. But seriously concerned in terms of the NAACP of any type of gun shop in this community. And it is true that it is a disparity, right? You don't see these kind of things in other neighborhoods around the city, right? But all of a sudden now, it's almost like we're placating to the issue that's going on, right? People are taking advantage of pain and suffering and using it for economic reasons. And it's wrong. It's wrong whether it's a gun shop or if it's these other developers that are, who own places like London Oaks, who have terrible, inhumane conditions. And so the thing is, we gotta rise up to tell these, whatever they're gun owners, developers, whatever, that you're not gonna be able to make money on the backs of black suffering. Just not gonna be able to do it. And we know that it's happening. It's an issue whether black or white, gun violence and life is life. But we know that our lives have been marginalized and disenfranchised for so long regarding gun violence. So seriously concerned, whether it's ammo, whether it's guns, whether it's any other kind of weapon, we don't need it in this community. The best thing that we need in our community is resources. We need things that'll help kids to look at other things beyond guns, right? So seriously concerned, whatever we need to do to fight it. I feel like the individuals are in the room that can stop it, and so I think it should be stopped immediately. And if we have a right, people have the right to have shops and businesses, but it shouldn't be under the disguise of a U-Haul or something like that, so that you can continue to placate off the wrongness in our community. So I agree with wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. Before we get to the mayor, the vice president, Keisha Honor.
My concern is, we know the what, right? I'm concerned about the why and the how. I want to understand, we know that every business does not have to go before city council, but what can we do to close the loop and the gaps to make sure that certain businesses are always required to go before city council? Because if we're being conscientious about moving the city forward, we need to be able to make very good decisions about what businesses are allowed where and how they operate. So I'm concerned about, if we cannot undo this, how can we close the loophole so that it does not happen again?
Mr. Glover, Mayor.
So what you're describing, what you just described, Ms. Hicks, is part of a policy issue. But before I get to that, I want to be clear on why I asked my colleagues to join me outside in the interest of transparency. You know, as a city council, we have rules which govern how we can meet and where we can meet. And so with those rules in place, we can show up all at a public event that is not dealing with policy issues, right? So the reason why I asked those individuals to actually speak with me in the hallway is because we don't want to get ourselves in trouble as a council. So I just wanted to be transparent with that. One of the things in listening, you know, when I was contacted by Pastor Randall, certainly the concern heightened, shared it with city leaders and city attorney. Certainly you and everybody here has posed some very important questions that we need answers to. So what we've done as a council, we've asked for a meeting tomorrow afternoon because there is a sense of urgency. And a meeting tomorrow afternoon of your executive committee, sir, and our city manager and our city attorney. And so what that will enable us to do, to get real answers, you will be talking to the folks, and perhaps one of us on council will be in that meeting. I will call you with the time, but we hear you. And I want you to know that you matter, what you're describing matters, but we have to handle things in the proper order. And I don't want to get into the detail of what that order is, but I assure you, something and an action will be taken if all of the things are not what they appear or should be legally. We will address those matters very swiftly and appropriately, because the number one priority of this city council and any city council is the well-being and the safety of our community. It matters to all of us, and I live in Green Acres, just so you know. You can find my address. It's a public document, and I don't want it in my community, and I know a lot of other people don't want it in their community. So I assure you, it has a heightened sense of our attention, and we will get some answers tomorrow if that's okay with you,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Officer Washington, Vice Mayor, did
Well,
you?
I just want to applaud you and everyone in this room for coming together. I mean, I believe we started last week when we had the prayer vigil, and it was showing that in this new year, we're gonna come together and we're gonna work together. But in this meeting, we had 5 members of council who are willing to work together, and that's probably gonna happen a lot this year, but that really constituted a meeting. And we needed some minutes, and we needed to open and take roll and all of that. So now we have cleared the room, but I thank you, Pastor Randall, for setting this up and bringing it to the attention, because a lot of times we get engulfed into the work that we have to complete, and we don't see it all. I had not seen this, and I apologize that I had not seen this. I'm seeing so many different things, but I'm glad to be here and glad that we're gonna be working toward a solution. We in it to win and to help all of our communities to be better. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And let me tell you guys something. Mr. Tim Webb, who is the CEO, wealthy businessman, doing great things with helping people that are suffering with substance abuse issues. He thought it necessary to come before us. He didn't do not one thing. He didn't put anything up in place until he came before this, simply to say, hey, we're gonna be servicing people that are suffering with crack addiction, heroin addictions, alcohol dependency, and what have you. And I thought about it. He took the time to come before us, and he now leases out the Lucas's place right across the street. We don't want those people that are already fighting for their life and trying to get back on the right track to come out, and all they see is, we sell guns and what have you. Something that James Boyd said, we need resources. We need resources, and I just think that it does a disservice, because I did invite the owner that we're talking about of this place here tonight, and he was like, well, we can come to him. And I know he's taking this stance because he knows that he didn't do anything wrong in reference to how he opened it up. However, like I told him, we live there, you don't. So we want people that are gonna be vested into the community and have something to offer, because again, let's be honest, anybody here that ever been in business or wanna go in business, you have goods and services that you tend to offer, and you target a certain community to offer those goods and services. So it's the same thing. You go to a place, my baby sister here, she know I like to go and get massages and stuff. She told me about a place over in Virginia Beach that's $400 a massage. And I'm like, well, I can afford that. You can. So I'm not mad with those people. They targeting a certain demographics of people that want those services. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Why would you, of all the places to put guns, because you want to be a successful businessman, why are you right there in the core of our community, and you want to sell guns and ammunition? Former Vice Mayor Elizabeth Simmons.
I have 2 questions. Number 1, is this place open for business today? They haven't gotten a use permit yet. Why are they open?
And that's what I was getting ready to say, and I'm gonna let you ask your second question. That was the next question, sir. That everybody else wait. So who told them that they're good? Who told them, and I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm being
If
real.
they don't have a
Who-
use permit, they don't
right.
have a certificate of occupancy, they can't be
They're
open.
wide open, baby.
But not only that, who told them that, but not only that, they already have the U-Haul sign on there.
Well, that's
They
okay,
can use
but that
all
doesn't mean you
that.
open the door.
No, but what I'm saying to you is, that's still something, because we don't go into spending money, because let's say that for whatever reason, council says no. Now, you got U-Haul flags all around, you got U-Hauls up there, you have to own the door, so someone had to tell them you good. Just like someone had to tell them, oh, you good to sell guns out of there, even though it's not gonna be called a gun store.
Okay, the second question, and Onyx is absolutely correct, and you'll know this tomorrow when you have this meeting. If you have to have a use permit to rent a U-Haul, somewhere in the city charter and the ordinances, which I couldn't find last night, there has to be something about, you have to have a use permit to do anything in the city. Put up a fence, sell U-Haul, sell airline tickets, whatever it is. Surely you have to have a permit to sell a gun. I found the part where you have to have a permit to sell a toy gun, so I'm sure there must be one in there. And these folks that the mayor and vice mayor are gonna bring together with you tomorrow, they'll have the answer. So either A, the council's gonna have to approve it because it's a permitted by right, which means it can be done if it's in certain areas, or, and if that's the case, then as Onyx said, the next step is change those rules. But if not, then they don't have a use permit, nor have they applied for one. And it's gonna be a real simple answer, yes or no.
Well, they got a sign out there now that they meeting with the planning commission on January the 17th at, 6:30? 1:30. They got the little.
Right,
construction.
and I shared that photo as well.
Okay.
Tell Officer Washington don't go far, James, and then Officer Washington, we need to hear from Officer Washington, we need to wrap it up, and I want to hear from anybody from the executive staff want to add anything at the end.
It's Freddie.
Freddie, I'm sorry, thank you, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. This is awesome to see. And I just want to say two things, then I'm be quiet. First of all, how would we feel if we saw a coffin being sold on that third corner?
Boy.
These kids have to walk by and see an open coffin every day, because that's what we're promoting, death in our area. That's what we're promoting. And you know why I say that? Because we are a commodity to everyone except us. The jails profit off of us. The juvenile facilities profit off of us. The court system, the funeral home, the cemeteries, and the hospitals. So if I know that there's an illness there, why cure it when I can treat it and make more money? What we're seeing is a capitalist society at its best. And because there's no unity, there is no diversity. And because it's like that, we don't have enough strong leaders. Let me calm down.
Yeah.
But we have a city that has the highest number of black leadership, but we have the highest crime, we have the highest rates of poverty, but we aren't accomplishing anything. We need love, unity, and harmony. I don't care if you're from London Oaks, Gales Home, or Southside. We're all dealing with the same issues. But as long as the leadership doesn't see unity, they're not going to do anything about it. It doesn't matter. It should always be one voice, one city. You have Brighton that's right there. These kids have to walk up and down that street. You have Parkview. And then you also have Norfolk. We already know that it's going to get broken into. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And like this gentleman stated, the insurance is going to cover every loss. We're going to have to do fundraisers and GoFundMe to bury these young ones.
Officer Washington, the information.
Oh, good evening, everybody. I can't afford $400 massage.
I'll give you one for one.
So from a police department side, I will tell you that the gentleman does have his business license. He is zoned to sell firearms in that location. Okay, he does have a business license. He does have a zoning permit. He has all of his legal documents that he needs to operate a firearms business in that location, okay? The only thing that has not been approved yet, what you guys decide, is the U-Haul side of things, okay? Which has to go before city council. Zoning is aware of the signs of the U-Haul, and they will be going out there tomorrow in reference to the U-Haul issue, okay? And, I will yield to Assistant Chief Nelson, who is also here for the police department.
So, just piggybacking on what Officer Washington said, we have been aware of this business, and we've had a special investigation unit go into the business to make sure that they are in compliance with all ATF regulations, and they are, as of this point. So the police department is aware of their concerns. We are taking them seriously, and we are keeping an eye on the business. However, when it comes to zoning, business licenses and things of that nature, that is out of our purview. But we do have a business compliance team that we have been deploying recently, and they are issuing citations. We have a city not city council, but our police attorney, who is on board with doing the litigation on the civil side, so that we can make sure that the fines are imposed and that we close these businesses that are not in compliance with the rules and regulations. So we are working closely with other city leaders and businesses to try to make these businesses comply. And I will say to you all that we have Officer Washington working closely with this business to try to do a security survey to make sure that the business is as secure as possible while city council comes up with some other alternatives for your community. So they do have heavy safes, and they have a minimal amount of firearms that will be on the premises, and I would say less than a handful. And we're gonna continue to monitor the business and make sure that the police department is aware of everything that's going on until we can get some more compliance through code enforcement.
Thank you.
Welcome to our neighborhood.
And that lets me know that, and again, because Ms. Cook, our former secretary, as you can see, what was shared, and that's the problem that I'm having, and I'll talk more with the mayor tomorrow, the miscommunication, because the owner, I said, he told me about ordering guns. I said, so are you telling me no guns will be on the property? And he paused, and he said, well, yes, we will have some guns for sale on property. So even as the assistant chief just said, there will be a minimal, but again, how certain people that was there told her that there are no guns, and I get it, because they want to kind of smooth it over, but this is all my request will be. I have two requests, but I roll with the flow. We can't win them all. We're gonna lose some, we're gonna win some. My first request would be that they will not be able to continue on selling firearms and ammunition out of that place. However, because of legal purposes, and they did things maybe the right way, maybe the council can't do anything about it. However, what I will ask is that they will be required to make it a gun store, meaning it shouldn't be masked behind a U-Haul place. Oh, and while you're here to check about our U-Haul, we sell guns in the back. Because let's just be real, people. If that's the case, then the stores, we know marijuana is legal. So while I go in there to get me a hamburger, I'll also be about me an eight. I'm just being real. So at the end of the day, if we are going to, promote it as we sell guns, then why is it in a gun store? That's all my issue would be, and that's what I will ask.
I just wanna say, in the charter, it has an initiative, and I don't know what it means, but, it means something. I'll have to do some research, but maybe initiative that we can create that will do what needs to be done.
Absolutely. So anybody from the executive staff wanna add as we close out?
I just wanna say thank you for the outpour of support in the community. I appreciate y'all, showing up and showing out at this meeting, because without you all, we can't get anything done. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking the time out and just showing up for us tonight.
Absolutely. Washington. Come here, please, sir.
Hey Barry, can you take us out with prayer, bro? I need prayer before I get in my
Okay,
car.
we got you.
I gotta go past the gun shop. The ammo and the gun shop. I gotta go past them. You need some prayer around this joint. We gotta bring God right back down for
So anyway, I as I was just telling Officer Washington, I think that was the owner that was here. I had to go back to my inbox, because he inboxed me, so I'm looking at the picture, and then the gentleman that was standing in the back who just left and put a mask over his face, that was him.
Wow.
That was him. Yeah, honest, you had some.
Oh, Lord, I gotta go put my doorbell camera on.
All right, guys, listen up. We need the support. We meet the first. Okay, we meet
Mayor,
the.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? You said the picture,
So first of all, I'm glad you did that. Miss, I don't know if you want to be put on the spot, but I want to thank her, because everybody loved to say, oh, Barry Brandon caused the trouble again. It was brought to my attention by Miss Tamala Spruill. And I know you now, Paul, I know you wanted me to say. She brought it to my attention of what was happening. So let's give her a round of applause, because she brought it to my attention. And that's when I got on board and said, I will investigate it. I give you my word. Did I not tell you that? And he reached out to me, and he was like, I don't appreciate what you doing. I said, well, calm down, brother. I said, I'm doing my job as a civically president. I know many of us got the leadership mantra wrong, because we feel like when you're at the top, everybody's supposed to serve you, but when you're president, when you're leaders, pastors, we serve the people. So I told him that the community had an issue, and it was my job to investigate the issue that the community had. And so he reached out to me. So that's why when I said, is the owner here? Because I looked at the person that was standing at the back of the door, and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, that's him.
That's not him. I invited him. His last name Grant. That's not the same gentleman.
So the person that's reached out to me is the owner?
Yes, the person on that picture that reached out to you, he's the owner. The guy that was back here, that's someone else. I invited him here from the community.
Gotcha, okay, thank you, okay. Yeah, so, but again, I did invite, and he said basically, let's go to him. But anyway, what I want to close with this is this, guys. We cannot, so glad to see Neil and his people here, thank you. It is so imperative. We can't be reactive, guys. We gotta be proactive. We can't wait till, Pam, you said it best, saw this 2 months ago.
Right.
We meet the first Monday, excluding holidays. If there's a holiday, we meet the following Monday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's time out that we stop looking at the mayor like, oh, you live in Green Acres, or y'all know when we get mad with Lisa Lucasburg, or you think you all that because you live in Crystal Lake. At the end of the day, people take pride in their community because they're looking at the bigger picture that one day they may want to sell their house. So guess what? Because I want to sell my house, no, you're not going to sell fish sandwiches and alcohol from your house to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. No, you're not going to let your grass get 6 feet tall. No, you're not going to park your cousin them vehicle in the yard and let the tags expire and what have you. There's no need of us getting angry with them. And I take pride in our community. And that's why I tell you guys always, because I get tired of hearing it, because I hear it all the time when we try to pit each other against communities and say, oh, Mr. Mayor, if it was Old Town, y'all would do this. Or if it was Crystal Lake, y'all would do that. And let's be honest, anything that happens or want to happen in Cavalier Manor, they go before that civic league. And you all know, big money, the trash compact, all this stuff, and those residents say yay or nay. So we need to do the same thing. So I appreciate all of you all coming out, but let us not wait till the next situation happens, and then we are in the last inning. And then I'm glad we was able to get this out, because there's no need of us being mad with them.
No.
Because I know these people. They can tell you, we've been odds at each other, we've been allies with each other. But at the end of the day, I know they care about this city. That's why I called upon them. And if they can do anything about this, they're going to do it. However, if they can't, we will be the litmus test for the next community, meaning we will be the blessing to the next community of not anything opening up. Because if you want to sell alcohol, they go through strict regulations. Even the ABC stores can't open up anywhere. They got to make sure they're so many feet away from churches and things like that. So we need to also add guns to that list, especially with us having 42 homicides in 1 year. Especially with us making sure that we need to make sure that we take pride in our community. Ms. Lee.
I was gonna say, just like Ms. Lee said earlier, and the gentleman and the young lady in the back about, I agree that the U-Haul place is great. We have a large military community here in this area, and there's a lot of military people that move in and out of this area, and having a U-Haul is wonderful. I'm not understanding how the zoning commission was able to allow them to sell guns, just like they said earlier, it was legit. Like Officer Washington, and she said, it's legit that they have the permit and the zone to be able to sell guns. When you have elementary schools and all within that district area that has signs that says no firearms are allowed within so many feet of those public schools.
And all the homicides in my neighborhood.
So I'm just not understanding, and I think we really need to get answers to understand how is it that the zoning commission was able to allow and approve them to have the capability to sell guns out of that area. Just like she said, most gun shops are in a commercial shopping center that are not in the middle of a community of a home in a neighborhood. You don't see that, you just
And
don't
it's
see
squeezed
that.
between two churches. Right behind it is a church that just opened up. I know the pastor, and right beside it is a church. So what we need to recognize is, again, I just want us to be clear to make sure that if in fact there's nothing we can do, they shouldn't get two bites at the same apple. What is it? We need to make it clear. You're coming before us about a U-Haul business, but y'all selling guns. If we can't do anything about it being a gun, then make it a gun store. But you know why they're not doing it as a gun store? Because they know that the community is not gonna support it. And they will not be able to pay the bill off of just selling guns. However, again, let's be real, people, because marijuana is legal, but it's still not legal to sell from a store. So if we allow one person to mask as a U-Haul store but can sell your gun, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go in the store and buy your lottery and buy your iPhone. Let us all say. I'm not sure, but we're gonna look into this. Did you have a question, John, before we close out? All right, I'm gonna ask our sergeant of arms. I know our chaplain is here. Where he's at? Okay, I don't see him. We're gonna ask Pastor Carswell to close us out, please. If you guys can bring to attention, I know you all want to talk to each other and what have you, but thank you, Pastor Aldrain, Pastor of First Corinthians Baptist Church, right there on Randolph and Deep Creek Boulevard. Pastor Aaron Smith, artists, and other ministers in the building. All the pilot is here. Other people, thank you, Leah Drake Stiff and James Overton from Portsmouth Coffee Talk, because they're helping us get this message out to people beyond double size this room. James Patrick Board, thank you, sir. We need your help in this. We need your help on this to continue the fight, because again, we could have did it in the way of y'all meet me right there in front of that place and let's pick it. But we want to take this into a new direction. We have a new council, and we just want to change the dynamics of how we do things in this city. We don't always have to scream at each other, and and just because we don't agree with each other, that we just go straight into attack mode. We just want to kind of, chill it out, and that's why I want to do things right. Thank you, Elvira, so much, and we're gonna need y'all with this battle. So thank you for being a good sister community to us. Appreciate you. All right, Pastor.
We'll bow our heads, please. God, we thank you for this meeting. God, we thank you for the concern of our citizens. God, we also thank you for each person that was represented tonight, each family, God. Lord, we ask, Lord, that you give us strategy, initiative, Lord, proactive communications and proactive strategies, oh Lord, in order to make sure that there is peace in our communities. For you are not a God of confusion, but a God of peace. So, Lord, we ask that you give us the direction, the discernment, and the discretion to handle this situation as we should. God, we thank you for every family represented tonight. And Lord, we have not seen our best days yet in this community. And God, we take this night as a symbol, Lord, of what is to come, of the unification within our communities. Thank you for those that held this meeting. Thank you for those that planned it, God. And this is just the beginning. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. And we will be back here the first Monday in February with a report of the executive meeting and the executive board. I will let you all know when the mayor lets you know what time and whoever can make it. Please.
I like these glasses so much as one of these. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Just wanted to ask you, with this turnout today, how do you feel? Do you feel optimistic about going forward? Because a lot of times we don't.
When you see this type of outpour in the community, you know the
right area. Nobody wants to see that. We already know the crime rate, the gun rate, the murder rate is so high in the Prentice Park right here. So all of these people out here tonight, I know it's gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
New us. So thank you for coming out.
And the main thing with the murder rate being so high, it doesn't make sense to be selling guns right in the neighborhood. So
They know.
is he profiting?
They think they can come.
Right.
Because they think the community is
Right.
gonna let it happen. I want to go out there and fix the furniture store, but we're gonna take it another direction.
How about that?
But yeah, we're gonna.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you always being willing to give us an interview. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. No problem. Take care.
What's up, Chief?
Hey man, how you doing?
man?
Good to see you. Long time.
I've been trying to see.
Go this way.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Good. How your wife doing? She's doing fine. Thanks for asking. How you doing, son? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her 25.
No, don't tell her. Don't
Hey, where them Cowboy fans at? Where them Cowboys at?
Oh, I'm not even gonna put that on camera.
No, don't do that. Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro.
I kind of expected. I knew that was gonna happen.
Hey, if y'all don't get Dak Prescott out of there, we done, baby.
He'll be all right. Hey, how you doing? All right. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for all you all.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. You might not feel like it, but we really appreciate it.
We know it's one of those things. We appreciate the support.
Hey, sir. Hey, how you doing?
All right, man.
All right.
Good.
Yes, good moving forward. I said good moving forward.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, you know, this is important.
Yeah.
I mean, when the citizens have a concern, we got to hear them first.
The camera's still on.
Yeah, well, you know, anytime our citizens have a concern, we've got to hear them first.
Right.
And then we've got to bring them together with city leadership to address those concerns.
Yeah.
And that's how communities work.
And I'll say one thing I hope you all do, those boards and commissions, go back to the interview part of boards and commissions.
So that is exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
I assure you.
Because that level is important too for things like this.
Extremely. And so I can assure you that will be a part of the process going forward.
I thought that was a good process. So make sure you get the right people. You know? Thanks, man. Take care.
So we'll see y'all
Tomorrow night.
and Thursday.
And Thursday. I'll be both.
You guys to the council tomorrow.
I know. I'm working, man.
Soon, sir.
All right, everybody. This was a meeting, a concern of people in writing, and it seems like it's got some good traction. It looks like going forward, if there's nothing that can be done about the shop, they're selling ammo and guns, that in the future policies can be changed so that won't happen again. But it's kind of crazy to be selling one of the highest, where a lot of murders are taking place in their community. They're selling ammo. That's kind of crazy, but how does that make sense to you? But anyway, the fight is going forward, and whatever happens will probably be in the positive one way or another. So we got the ear of city council, so I think we'll be in good shape. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm trying to get one more interview.
Now I did see James. that people that ship is out there sitting on the Bahia Ward.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If it looks like somebody went in, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It's you. And I got the assistant chief right here.
Oh, yeah.
She knows, she see you going in my pocket.
Oh yeah, she's armed. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Happy New
How's
Year.
that?
Nice
Happy
to
New
see
Year.
you.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question here on camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're here with a former city councilor, former vice mayor. Give everybody your name.
Elizabeth Simmons.
Elizabeth Simmons, and she's here, and even though she hasn't been on the council in a while, she's here at this community meeting because she's still concerned. So isn't that kind of crazy? I think going forward, we probably need to, so, those boards and commissions and zoning commissions. Right.
I think, from what I heard tonight, it sounds to me like it is a permitted use by right, which you understand, which means it doesn't have to go before anybody.
Right.
And my guess is that's a very old permitted use in a commercial area because in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, when those rules were written, Elm Avenue was a big commercial area. That building we're talking about was a grocery store, I think, at least when I was a child.
Right.
So
I remember that too.
I'm guessing, and we know the council can't spot zone, so they can't look at these folks tomorrow night. If it is permitted by right, they can't say, oh, no, we can't allow that. But
Going
for
forward,
the future, they can look at those zoning regulations on.
And just like it came up every once in a while, hold up for me. Just came out every once in a while when you were on council. There's some laws in there that need to be.
Well, there's always something weird that needs tweaking, and we've had commissions to review. I think you were on one.
Yeah.
But I think about, I can remember one night when a whole bunch of pastors came up to fuss about a liquor store that wanted to go across it from Norcom High School. And it was right there by the food line. And the city council didn't even know about it because the ABC board didn't have to come to the city. But somebody had gotten wind of it. And we ended up getting some of our senators and delegates to put pressure on the ABC board. And now they've just finally rebuilt.
Now they go to the community.
Yeah.
And if the community says no.
So, you don't realize a rule's bad until you come up on something like this.
Right. Well, we have to change that.
Yeah, we're working on it.
I just found out about
Glad
this.
to get folks together.
Okay, in the midst of the last meeting, 'cause the man I had COVID.
Really? Okay.
No, over Christmas, we straight now.
Oh, okay.
She was in the hospital. But I want to ask you a question on live here. You're here and you're from another community. How important is it for a community to support each other?
We should support each other.
Because it could come out in trust.
It's just working its way down the road.
Right.
It's working its way down the road, but if we don't say nothing, and whoever's in zoning or whatever, however, just got, what's the word I want? Slide under the rug or slide in there or whatever. It got in there, so trust me, others want to try to do the same thing.
Right.
So
Under the guise of something else.
So now's the time to stop it. This came to me, and I'm going to knock myself upside the head, because this came to me about a month or so ago, but I thought they knew about it. But they didn't. But I'm thinking the person that lived out here that told me this, I said, why didn't you take it to your civic league? Why didn't you say something downtown? I don't speak before people, but it's a problem for you. Why they call themselves rocking the block? Why didn't they rock that? That was my question. So now it's out.
Yeah.
Thank God it's out now.
And we thank you because you've always been supportive of other communities.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think this would have gotten past you.
Oh, no, because I'm nosy.
In the beginning, yeah. But it could have. It could have been there before you were president.
It can happen to us at any given time.
Yeah.
But I'm out there.
Yeah.
And I'm nosy enough to go, what's this and what you're selling and all this other good stuff. So
And by the way, this is Alva Johnson Williams. She's president of the Wilson Ward Gospel Civic League.
That's it.
And she's here to support Prentice Park Civic League.
Prentice Park Brighton.
Prentice Park Brighton Civic League. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Be careful.
You too, baby.
All right.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Oh, because where all the
You want folks to come in, like Bernie doing, yes, so you put that there, so you gotta participate like our post.
Sure, yeah.
And participate still whatever, you know, kind of what you said, you know, if we're able to articulate what.
He gonna say
point really we want,